In all the years that I've been skating in Chicago, there's never been any fights at any of the spots. There are no racism, there's no isms at all. There's boys, girls, black, white, men, women, everybody skateboards. And that's like the only sport that if we could get all the people who have discord with each other, give them skateboards, they totally chill on that shit, you know?
I've got a house.
Every black person that I know personally, outside of myself, owns their home.
I can't speak about everywhere, but in Chicago, black folks absolutely buy homes.
I know a lot of black homeowners. South Shore is filled with black homeowners, black real estate investors.
My partner and I built a home in the South Side on purpose because we wanted to live amongst black people, and we live on a street where everybody owns their homes.
I bought a house almost 11 years ago in a black neighborhood.
My grandma, she owns a lot of real estate. My uncle.
I own a building in the Chicago area, and I made it a family building. So it's a 2-unit duplex building, and I have the second floor. My grandmother's on the first, and my mother's in the basement.
It was like, how am I gonna build credit and do what I want to do in the future without starting to build some credit?
I pay a mortgage. I got me a backyard. I believe in owning your home. It's an investment.
Black folk don't buy homes, I think is absurd. Often black people can't buy homes, and black folk are prevented from buying homes.
Resources, money, capital. It's not necessarily available to black folks as it is to whites.
We live in a broader society that tells us that how we access wealth is through home ownership, while at the same time, we not only receive messages, but also are the recipients of policies that block us from doing the exact thing.
Because of redlining and before that, restrictive covenants that existed in cities to keep black people out of certain sections of the city. So there's a long heritage there.
Redlining is when investors or funders particularly map out an area of individuals they will not lend to. In order to buy a home, you must have the funds to do it. You must have the ability to keep it up, pay the taxes. And unfortunately, there's not been a lot of investment in the black community, so we can't buy homes. Not that we don't, we just simply sometimes can't.
And when we have been allowed into that process, the process itself, be it through the loans that we get, the banks that we engage with, we're treated unfairly. And that's part of it's a setup for failure.
We know that with the whole subprime mortgage and people being sold homes and given unfair loans, that black people were trying to get that American dream going and have their piece of the property.
A lot of black folks had their wealth tied up in their homes, and with those mortgages, they ended up losing all of their wealth. So now there's a little bit more hesitancy to invest in buying a home because we're still trying to rebuild our financial capital.
I do think that home ownership is something that we should aspire to.
Home ownership in general is important because it gives you a sense of worth. It gives you a feeling that, hey, listen, you've got a stake in the game.
I look at my yard, I'm out there every day picking up trash. I'm that guy on the corner that, don't mess with Mr. Snyder, he's an asshole. You know, I am. Because I bought this house, I bought this property, and I'm not gonna stand out there and watch you destroy my property. So yeah, I take upon this home ownership thing a little more serious.
I remember when I bought my first house, and I always thought, I always want to own a house, to feel like you own something.
It's land, so always buy the land. I think that's important, our relationship with land, even if it is somewhat a tense relationship with us and land in America.
When I think about the kind of home that I want to own, I want to have a home where it's actually like my basement or like one floor of the house is used for movement work, right? I know so many black folks who do that, who take in folks without question, create community space without question, because we understand that we ourselves are in the best position to love and protect each other.
On my father's side, his mother and her siblings, they all lived in the same house, which we call the big house. And as a kid, I was like, why do they call it the big house? Isn't it like a slave name? But it was called the big house because that's where everybody came to celebrate Christmas and have family reunions and so on and so forth. And it was generations of folk who lived in, had children in the big house. So it was this place for people to come together, and they owned it and passed that property down from one generation to the next.
Standing your ground, standing your ground. Another mother's son lying dead on the ground. Keep searching for justice, there was none to be found. Another black boy murdered, standing your ground. Who